Okay, so this is just very simple questions to get you in the mood for playing this. Now, if you don't get any of these right, yeah, we'll have to have a word. Okay, there's the first question is no place like home. So that gives you an idea of what this is going to be about. Start the quiz, and here we go. What is the third planet from the Sun? Oh, by the way, for 30 seconds I think to answer. And the sooner you answer, the more points you get. Let's see. Oh, 2 people said Mars. So all those who said the Sun, well done to you all. You got it right. Okay. At the end of each round, there will be a leaderboard, so you'll find out then. We're going to have 6 rounds in total. Okay. So next question, bring me sunshine. Here we go. Okay. Remember, the quicker you answer, the more points you get. On average, how long does it take for light from the Sun to reach Earth? How long does it take for light from the Sun to reach Earth? Ooh. Well, for all those who said 8 minutes 20 seconds, well done, that's correct. Now we say on average because the Earth's orbit isn't circular, it's actually elliptical. So there are times when the Earth is closer to the Sun and further away, so light does take a little bit longer or shorter to reach, but on average it's 8 minutes and 20 seconds, so well done to you all for that. Okay. Reusable rockets, they're a big thing, but we used to have one, we used to have a number of them. Wonder where they all went. Okay, this question obviously is going to be space shuttle related, and the question is, which of the space shuttles did not fly in space? Which of the space shuttles did not fly in space? Okay, let's see if many got this one right. Oh, those who said Enterprise were correct. Endeavour, Atlantis and Discovery all actually flew. In fact, on 21st of July 2021, so just over 10 years ago, it was when the last shuttle actually landed. That was Atlantis on mission STS-135. Endeavour, Atlantis and Discovery and even Enterprise, you can actually go and visit them today. And Enterprise is in the Intrepid Sea, Air and Space Museum in New York. Endeavour is in the California Space Center. Atlantis is in the Florida Space Center, Kennedy Space Center, and Discovery is in the Stephen Udvar-Hazy Center, which is in Virginia and part of the Air and Space Museum. So if you ever get a chance, well worth a visit. So that is question 3 of round 1. Okay, question 4. According to the Kármán line, at what height does space begin? According to the Kármán line, at what height does space begin? And you probably heard a lot of talk about the Kármán line recently with Jeff Bezos and Richard Branson going into space and who went over the line and who didn't. Well done. Those who said 100 kilometers, that is, if you like, the official definition of the Kármán line. However, the Kármán line was actually constructed by Theodore von Kármán in the 50s. He wanted to have a determination of where our atmosphere ends and space begins. He actually talked about 275,000 feet, which is about 84 kilometers. But the FAI, the Fédération Aéronautique Internationale, well, I've just butchered some French, they basically rounded it up to 100 kilometers. And it's not a set standard, although it is used quite widely. For instance, the US Air Force, US Armed Forces, they say you're an astronaut if you actually fly above 80 kilometers. While it's there as more of a guide, and it's not a hard and fast rule. In fact, the atmosphere goes on, I think, for 600 miles beyond Earth, so there you go. Okay, we are now going on to question 5 of round 1. Okay, there and back again. Okay. This is related to the Apollo program, and it's simply, what was the name of the Apollo 11 lunar command module? What was the name of the Apollo 11 lunar command module? Not the okay, I have got that one wrong. I'm a silly boy. So all you who said Eagle, you were right, but I got it wrong. I put Columbia when it should have been Eagle. See, that's what they were here for, to make mistakes. So anybody who got it wrong by saying Columbia got it right, but you knew what I was going for with the picture. Okay, well, there we go. There's the first results in. Rich, Phil, Paulo, Namanesh, Chris B, Jaden, well done to you all. Rich is pulling out ahead. If you remember, fastest finger gets more points, so don't hang about. If you know the answer, jump right in there. Okay, so we're going to go on to round 2. And round 2 is all about Apollo, so we're following on from the last Apollo question, and fingers crossed these are all correct. So hopefully you'll be able to get some of the up your scores in these. So the first one small step for man. Okay, we all know that saying. That was Neil Armstrong as he stepped onto the surface of the moon. But on what Apollo mission was the following said? It's been a long way, but we're here. It's been a long way, but we're here. We don't want the person who said it, we want to know what mission. It's been a long way, but we're here. Oh, well done to everybody who said Apollo 14. It was actually said by Alan Shepard, who was of course the first American in space, and it was during that Apollo 14 where you may have seen the video of Alan Shepard knocking a few golf balls across the surface of the moon. And he the first American space, obviously that was Freedom 7 Mercury capsule back in the day. Okay, so we're moving on to round 2 question, which is question 7. Okay, and that is, the furthest any human has travelled in space is 400,000 kilometers. This occurred during which mission? The furthest any human has travelled in space is 171 kilometers. This occurred during which mission? Oh, well that was a bit of a tricky one. It was actually Apollo 13. One of the reasons they went so far was because they had to adjust their trajectory to actually get home again. If you remember, they had one of their oxygen tanks erupted shortly after they left Earth. And so everybody at NASA was working around the clock to bring them home, and part of that was to do a slingshot around the moon and get them back again. But that's what took them actually so far, and that is still, nobody's gone further since that. Okay. This one's going to be about the Saturn V. Okay, how much thrust does the Saturn V produce at launch? How much thrust does the Saturn V produce at launch? It's a big rocket. Okay, the answer is actually £7.6 million, which is still a heck of a lot of thrust. It's still the biggest and most powerful rocket to date. It hasn't been surpassed yet. Obviously, the likes of SpaceX and others would like to try and surpass that. And so that was round 2, question 8. Now we're going to move on to question 9. And you got to love the Lovell. Now this is going to be about James Lovell, okay? Now James Lovell flew on Apollo 8, Apollo 13, Gemini 7, and which other mission? He flew 4 times into space. Apollo 8, Apollo 13, Gemini 7, and which other mission? Oh, Gemini 12, well done. You certainly know your stuff. And of course, Jim Lovell was the commander of the Apollo 13 mission as well. Okay, so that's question 9. So we're now moving on to question 10, which is the last question in this Apollo round, and it's called Last to Leave. Okay, question 10 is, who was the last human to walk on the moon? Who was the last human to walk on the moon? There's been 12 people who stepped foot on the moon. Who was the last person to go? Oh, well done. Gene Cernan was the last person off the surface of the moon. He, along with Harrison Smith, were on Apollo 17. During their time on the moon, they actually covered 22 hours in EVAs, basically their time they spent on the moon, and they actually covered 35 kilometers by using the lunar rover. Okay, so we're going to have the next leaderboard. So let's see who's at the top. Ooh, Phil, well done. You're just sneaking ahead there. You are 7 points ahead of Rich. Now Manesh, you are 3rd. But remember, the quicker you answer, the more points you get. The points go from 100 down to 1. So the sooner you can get your answer in, the more points you're going to gain. Okay, so now we're going on to round 3. Okay, round 3 is going to be about astronomy. Let's look at those stars and see what we can see. Okay, so the first question of round 3, which is question 11 in total, it's going to be Starry, Starry Night. According to the Yale Bright Star Catalogue, under perfect conditions, how many stars can you see at night with the naked eye? According to the Yale Bright Star Catalogue, how many stars could a person see with the naked eye at night under perfect conditions? Oh, lots of smarty pants there, because around 4,500. The Yale Bright Star Catalogue lists every star with a magnitude of 6.5. So basically every star that is visible to the human eye. Of course, you need to be under perfect conditions to see them all, because things like light pollution is the biggest problem that people have. But if you can find a perfect spot, you'll see around 4,500 stars. There's 9,000 stars in total you can see, but obviously you can only see half of those depending where you are in the world. Okay, following on from you've used your naked eye to view the stars. The next best thing up probably will be a telescope. Okay, we're going to do some eye spying. What is the largest optical telescope in the world? What is the largest optical telescope in the world? Oh, well done. The Gran Telescopio Canaris, the Great Canaris Telescope. Sorry. Okay, I wrestle it back. No, that's no. Well done. So 9 people got that right. Yeah. So I'm just looking up my notes here. Yeah, obviously there are radio telescopes that are much bigger. I mean, you have the FAST telescope which is 500 meters long for a radio telescope. But in terms of optical telescopes, the telescope that is in the Canaries is by far the biggest. So well done for those who got that right. It's in the stars. What can you see when you look to the sky? So this is going to be about constellations. Which of these is not a constellation? Which of these is not a constellation? Oh, fairly divided there. So you have 6 for Leo Minor and 7 for the Plough. The Plough or the Big Dipper, depending where you are in the world, is that not a constellation. It's an asterism. Yeah, what's an asterism? Well, basically an asterism is a popularly known group of stars. So something that people recognise when they look up the night sky, but it's not a constellation like Orion. So the Plough or the Big Dipper is an asterism. Actually, the Big Dipper is actually part of a constellation, Ursa Major, which is the Great Bear. Okay, so well done if you got that right. Okay, in a galaxy far away. Okay, in 2018, Hubble discovered Icarus, the furthest individual star ever seen. How far is it from Earth? Icarus, how far is it from Earth? It's the furthest individual star ever seen by the wonderful Hubble telescope. Okay, the answer, a lot of you fell down that one. It's actually 9 billion light years. 9 billion light years away. Okay, and this was discovered using a gravitational lensing, as it's called. Hubble was gazing at a group of galaxies, and the gravitational force of those gravities actually bent the light around it, so it actually helped magnify items in space that are further away, and that's how Hubble was actually able to see this star. So, and it was 9 billion light years away. It's one of those ones, unless you knew it, you didn't know it. Okay, we're going on to question 15, the last question in this round. Okay, let's hit the light speed. And we've just talked about Icarus being 9 billion light years away. So think about that, 9 billion light years away. How far is a light year? How far is a light year? If you're travelling at the speed of light for a full year, what distance would you pass? Okay, it's actually 6 trillion miles or 9 trillion kilometers. Now, if somebody wants to do the maths and work out the 9 billion kilometers that Icarus is, and you multiply that. Okay, we're on the next leaderboard. Oh, Phil is pulling away. Well done, Phil. So you've actually opened up a gap there between you and Rich. Paulo is now into 3rd. Namanesh, you're into 4th. But well done to you all. Okay, I hope you're hanging in there. Alright, so on to the next question, and what we have here is, so, alright, okay, so we're going to stay with the with stars. So this whole round will be about stars, so I hope you know your star stuff. We obviously know the Sun, center of our solar system. It's pretty big, pretty massive, but just how massive is it? The question is, the Sun accounts for how much mass of the solar system? The Sun accounts for how much mass of the solar system? Oh, well done for those who said 99.86. I mean, there's not much in any of those values, but it shows you just how massive the Sun is, and we think the whole solar system is big, which it is, but the Sun is just one heck of a star. So well done for that. Now, obviously there's a gazillion stars out there. One of the probably more famous ones is Betelgeuse, which we heard a lot about last year when people thought it was dimming. What it actually turned out to be was interstellar dust passing in front of the star. So this question will be about Betelgeuse, and the question is, if Betelgeuse was to replace our Sun, what would be the furthest planet it would consume? Now, Betelgeuse is massive compared to our Sun, so it's going to consume a lot of planets, but what is the furthest planet it would consume if it replaced our Sun? Oh, fairly split there across the options. 6 for Jupiter, 3 for Saturn, 5 for Neptune, and 3 for Uranus. Yeah, so well done if you got Jupiter. So that's how big the diameter of Betelgeuse would be. Okay, so moving on, another star question. Okay, this is going to be about neutron stars. Neutron stars are so dense, 1 teaspoon would weigh how much? So if you get a teaspoon of neutron star material, how much would it weigh? It's all very heavy. Poor Rich, come on Rich, pull it back. Oh, well done, yeah. 1 billion tons. And that's how dense a neutron star is. Obviously, a neutron star is a star towards the end of its life. It's collapsed in on itself, and all the material has super imploded. And even though they're very small, some like 20 kilometers in diameter, hugely dense. But well done if you got that right. So we've talked about neutron stars. It's one of the options that await a star when it ends its life. But what about our Sun? What is the fate of our Sun? At the end of its life, what will our Sun turn into? What fate awaits our own Sun? Oh, well, yeah, fairly clear answer there. Yep, white dwarf. So the Sun isn't massive enough to become a black hole, but it will expand to become a red giant before collapsing in and becoming a white dwarf, which will eventually die, just become a large hunk of rock in the middle of a solar system. Okay, so this is question 5 of round 4, so we are down to the last question of this, and then we'll have another leaderboard check up. So this is about Sirius. Sirius is the brightest star you can see at night. The question is, how much brighter is it compared to our Sun? Sirius is quite a bit larger than our Sun and is a lot brighter. The problem is, of course, it's further away, so it doesn't seem as bright. But in terms of its own intensity, how much brighter is it than our Sun? Oh, well done. Yeah. Sirius is an incredibly bright star. It's a much larger star than our Sun anyway. but it's 25 times brighter and more luminous than our sun. So well done for those. The majority of people got that. Okay, here we are. Oh, there must be. Is there two Polos? We've got two Polo in first place. We got Phil in second place, only 24 points behind Polo. Well done. And Polo Mark II is in third place. So it's anybody's game. Remember, the quicker you answer, the quicker you get a point. Okay, we're moving on to round 5. Round 6 is the final round. So we're actually not too far away from that. And again, thanks very much for taking part in this. This is a good test of what this system. If you have any comments about how this works on your end, I say I don't know how it's going. So hopefully it is. You're able to use the system fairly flawlessly. But I have a few issues with it. We're trying to turn it into the live stream, but that's something I can work on. But certainly, any comments you want to make on this, the chat system you're using, I would certainly appreciate it, because I do want to do this again. Okay, we're going on to round 5, which is space exploration. Let's see what's out there. Make it so. Number 1. Engage. Okay, here we go. For question 1 of round 5. On space exploration, when did it begin? Well, I suppose we've been exploring space, as we said, with our eyes and with telescopes for millennia now. Okay, but in terms of human-made probes going out into space, obviously the daddy of them all, Sputnik. How many orbits did Sputnik complete during its short little mission? How many orbits did Sputnik complete? And those, if you're just playing along at home, I hope you are getting some of these questions right as well, or at least learning a wee bit. Okay, that didn't work there. It's going to work now, sorry. So how many orbits does Sputnik complete? Now, if you were sensible, that would give you plenty of time to actually Google that one while I waited, but yeah. Good old Sputnik. And of course now you've got the Sputnik V vaccine, if you are fortunate enough to get it. 4 seconds left. Come on, Cask, you can do it. Let's see. Yep, well done. Sputnik completed 1400 complete orbits before its mission ended. It was actually launched in October 1957, and that was the start of the space race. Okay, we're now going on to further our exploration a little bit more. Okay, we've got Sputnik going out there. What was the first spacecraft to actually soft land on another planet? And I say soft land in terms of it didn't crash and explode, or so what it managed to land and operate. What was the first spacecraft to do that? And we have sent numerous spacecraft out into space over the decades. But what was the first to soft land and operate on another planet? Oh, that full news is actually Venera 7. Yeah, Venera 7 landed on 15th of December 1970, or was that its launch? But it was one of the Russian probes to Mars. It was just like the picture there, it was just like a little ball. And they received a very faint signal from it. So Viking 1 was actually later, obviously went to Mars. But well done for the 3 who got Venera 7. Okay, we're moving on. This is about Voyager. You can guess by the picture. Voyager, one of the most famous space probes that we has ever had. Okay, now which of these celestial objects did Voyager 1 not observe, not fly by and observe. So which of these celestial objects did Voyager 1 not observe? Voyager 1 was launched about 2 weeks after Voyager 2, and both had similar but different missions. And Voyager 1 seen some things that Voyager 2 didn't, and Voyager 2 saw some things that Voyager 1 didn't. But what did, out of that, what did Voyager 1 not observe? Oh, Titan and Uranus, but it was Uranus that was observed by Voyager 2. So Voyager 1 did observe Jupiter, Saturn, and of course Titan. So well done for those who got Uranus and didn't dare think it was Uranus, because we wouldn't go to that level. Okay. Yeah, I do like this quote. It's probably one of the funnest quotes in probably movie, for me anyway, in movie history. Have you seen Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home, where Captain Kirk is trying to persuade this doctor that he wants to save these whales, and she turns to him and says, "Are you from outer space?" He says, "I'm from Iowa. I only work in outer space." But that is, for me, tickled my funny bone. Okay, enough of that. So we're obviously going to talk about space stations. Okay. What was the first crewed space station? What was the first space station to ever have people on board? Mir, Skylab, or Salyut 1? Which was the first? Let's see how you know your space history. Oh, a fairly even spread there. Are you just hitting buttons now and guessing? But Salyut 1 was the first. Skylab came next, and then Mir. Mir actually came before, was the space station previous to the ISS. So well done if you got Salyut 1. In fact, one of the modules that was Bethesda, I think, on the ISS was basically a Salyut type module. So well done if you got that. Oh, okay. This is the last question on our space exploration. Okay, we've talked about the Sputnik, the first human space probe. We've gone to other planets with probes. Obviously, SpaceX have a plan to send humans to Mars, and they're going to use Starship to do it. Now, if you listen to what Elon Musk has said and SpaceX has said, according to SpaceX, how many passengers will Starship be able to carry to Mars? How many passengers will Starship be able to carry to Mars? Ten seconds remaining. Bluebird says 200. I can tell you now, Bluebirds, you are not right, because it's not even one of the options on the questions. Oh, well done for those who said 100, because according to SpaceX, once Starship is fully operational, they hope to be able to carry 100 people to the red planet. Will they achieve it? Who knows? But certainly, without a doubt, it's something Elon is certainly aiming for. So we've explored a little bit of space. So we are now going to the leaderboard, and round 6 is the final round. So, and it will be, we'll have less time to operate this one. So, oh, the two Polos. Well done, Polo 1 and Polo 2. 4 points in it. Sky 82 is crapped up. Well done. You're now in 3rd place. Rich, well, you're hanging in there. Phil, now listen, folks, you can still pull this back. Remember, there is 100 points per question if you get in within the first second. So if you can get in within the first second, it might be worth just hitting a button and see how it goes. You know. Now this last section will be breaking news. This is space-related news items that have happened in the last couple of weeks. So hopefully you've heard of them. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. Maybe you will just end up hitting a button and see what happens. So I've run out of notes there. So this is the first question. I'll find out when you get it. Oh yes, this is about, we talked earlier about the Kármán line and how a lot of countries and a lot of organisations see the Kármán line as being 100 kilometres into space. I'm sure some of you have seen a little tweet that Blue Origin put out before Richard Branson went into space, basically saying that, oh, Virgin Galactic won't cross the Kármán line, blah 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 blah. It was a bit petty in my opinion. You know, I think ultimately all this is good. We're pushing forward with new technologies. It's like airplane travel when that first took off. You and I couldn't afford it, but 100 years down the line, it become very cheap. But anyway, the first question I want to know is, what height did Richard Branson reach during his flight on VSS Unity? Basically, what height did Richard Branson actually get to? Did he breach the Kármán line? Did he get to anywhere near? Did he get to the line that von Kármán actually stated, which is 275,000 feet? We'll find out in a minute. Let's see if any of you were paying attention. Oh, well done. 86 kilometers. So obviously you've been watching the news. So well done. Yeah. So technically you didn't reach the Kármán line, but even von Kármán, who thought of this whole system up, that would have been in his principal space, because he was looking at aeronautics against astronautics, and he used an example of a plane. It gets to a certain height and the plane is no longer using lift to keep it in the air. It has to use its own thrust, and once you get to a point where you're using thrust rather than lift, basically you're in space. So that was his thinking. But well done to Richard Branson. I don't think I'll be able to afford a lift in your ship, but good job. Okay, where's Wally? I think in America it's Where's Waldo, but oh, here in the UK it's Where's Wally. Okay, this is about Wally Funk. Let's see if you know how much about Wally. Oh, Cask. Oh, you're well ahead of the game in this. She became the oldest person to fly in space. How old is she? How old is Wally Funk? And 86 doesn't appear, Cask, so she's not 86. Oh, well done. Yep. Well, most of you's got it right. Although 6 people went for 87. 82. So, well done for those who got 82. The second oldest person was, of course, John Glenn, who flew, he actually flew on a space shuttle again, and he was 77 when he flew for his second flight on the space shuttle. But Wally Funk claims the title as the oldest person in space. Will that be beaten? Who knows, the way things are going. I don't see any reason why not. But if you've got the money, you can certainly go to space. Okay, room for one more. This is a very recent news item. This is about the Nauka module. When was the Nauka module originally meant to launch to the ISS? It only launched a few days ago on a Proton rocket. But when was the original launch meant to happen? Ooh, most of these went for 2000. In fact, 2007, according to the sources I read. And it makes you wonder how much of the technology that's aboard Nauka is actually early 20th century technology. How much has been upgraded since then? It's been sitting about in some lab somewhere, being upgraded for different reasons. They've come across a number of problems as they progressed, but it's been there from 2007. Oh, clipping hack. This is about the Europa Clipper. You may have heard this literally within the last day or so. And this is about NASA has awarded the Falcon Heavy to launch the Europa Clipper mission. How much was the cost of this mission? How much is the cost of the launch for a Falcon Heavy to launch the Europa Clipper? $178 million, and only 3 of you got it right. Most went for 180 million. I suppose depending what where you read it, you know, some people will round it up. But you think that I've seen reports that it was originally meant to launch on the SLS, NASA spacecraft, the space rocket, and they're talking up to $2 billion for one SLS launch. So if that's anywhere near true, even if it's $1 billion, NASA have just saved themselves over $800 million by switching to Falcon Heavy. And I suppose it does call into question the viability. Well, viability in one sense does come into it, because you're talking about a government body. It depends how much money the government wants to give to that particular body, but it shows you that things can be done cheaper, maybe better, depending who you ask. Not all, you know, just because the government does something doesn't mean it's the best way. Controversial. Oh, this is a good one. I did enjoy this when I read this. That's no moon yet. I hope you've seen this one. I'm not going. I was about to tell you where I seen it, but you've still got time to Google, so I won't. Okay, so let's see the question here. I can't remember what the actual question is for this one. Okay, ALMA is the largest radio telescope in the world. How many separate antennas is ALMA composed of? Yeah, this is the ALMA Observatory, the European Southern Observatory, and ALMA, I can't remember the full thing off the top of my head. I'm sure somebody can tell me. But this particular, oh, it's 66. You're close. I can see where you got 66. There's 14. Yeah, you're almost right with 52, but I can see where you come from, because there's 52 types of one antenna and there's 14 types of another, but technically they all make up the ALMA radio telescope. And that picture that we've seen was of a distant faraway distant galaxy. Basically, it was a prototype solar system. You had a star, you had a planet, but around that planet there was a dust cloud forming, and that dust cloud was a proto-moon. And it's kind of similar as to what happened to our own moon when billions of years ago we were hit by maybe another planet, something fairly massive anyway, and it carved out a lot of debris. That debris circled the earth. It began to clump together as a larger gravitational forces worked on it and pulled things in, and it became the moon that we know today. But for a lot of it, it was a giant dust cloud, and that's what's happening at this minute in that, well, 400 million years ago. Anyway, in another galaxy far, far away. But that's what ALMA was observing. A moon in formation around a very young planet. The planet itself is thought to be Jupiter-like, but extremely young in age, and it's amazing that we can see the very birth of these planets and these moons, and we can learn about our own existence and how we came to be. But check that one out. That is probably one of the most exciting things that's in this quiz as far as I'm concerned. Okay, this is it, guys. This is it. Oh, Paulo, well done. 1,141 points. Paulo, that is fantastic, and you will be receiving this. Now, you may not be receiving that particular one, depending where you live. If I can post it to you, I'll certainly post it. If not, you'll get one via your local Amazon or whatever. So hopefully I have your details saved somewhere. I should have collected everybody's email and the YouTube logins, and not logins, your YouTube channel details, so I should be able to tie you up. But well done, Paulo. Now that is fantastic. I'm actually quite sweating here. You probably be able to so this is quite new to me. Things haven't worked as I thought they will work in terms of the streaming and what would come up on the screen. I had hoped to see the questions as they appeared, but I did have some of them written down, which helped me. but for some reason the screen which I was looking at froze quite often, so I wasn't able to tell you what was going on the screen. So well done, Paula. I think that is fantastic. What I would like to know is how you thought about the quiz. What's good, what's bad, how can we improve, the system that you were using, how easy was it to use, was it easy enough to sign in? One of the reasons I asked people to sign in, again, is for contact details if nothing else. So if somebody does win, how do we get a prize to them? How do you that's why we need an email address. Obviously if there's no prizes, you don't need any particular login details, you can just fire away. But so yes, please, if you can, probably once this goes offline and comes a regular video, there will be comments. If you can leave a comment about your experience, I certainly want to do another one at least once a month if we can. If you have any questions you think would be good to ask in a quiz, trickier the better. Let's not make it easy for them, let's make it a wee bit difficult. Certainly I would love to hear them as well. And I'd say I had hoped to put pictures up as we went along, but unfortunately I couldn't really tell you where we were. I have them on two different computers here. What was on this smaller laptop was meant to reflect blah blah blah. It didn't work for me, so I have to iron out those bugs. But certainly I would be more than happy to hear about what you have to say about this. But certainly Paulo, you will be getting Polo 1 and Polo 2, you'll both be getting something. Polo 1, blue Polo as it appears on my screen, you'll certainly be getting a ISS Lego Polo 2. Oh, now, give me a second. You'll be getting... No, Polo 1 will be getting the Space Shuttle ISS, Polo 2 will be getting ISS Sky. If I can find, I'm bound to have something kicking about that I can send to you as well. Rich, you just missed out on the big spots by what, 15 points? You can try again, I know you will. But everybody done really well. Well done to you all. And I think in total we had 28 people playing at any one point. And given that it was originally scheduled just for members, but look, I'm glad everybody, thank you for everybody who took part. I certainly enjoyed it. I certainly learned things as I went along and made up the questions. Oh, good man, Rich. You really got the Lego. Good man. No, but I say, if there's anything you can think of about the quiz, I certainly want to improve on it. What can make it better? Yeah, send me a little message on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, blah, Twitter, blah blah blah. But thanks very much for joining. I hope you enjoyed it. Apollo 1 and 2. If I'm not in touch with you soon, please contact me, because it means I haven't been able to capture some details. But hopefully I have everything. I will download the login, the email details that were hopefully attached as you signed in. I'll have a look at that later on tonight, and I will contact you within the next day or two to confirm that the item has been shipped. It'll either come directly from myself or it'll come through Amazon, wherever you are in the world. But as I haven't heard from me by Wednesday, send me if you're on Twitter, contact me by Twitter, drop me a DM, and I'll certainly follow it up. But folks, thanks very much. I enjoyed that. That was good fun. I am a bit red, sweating a wee bit, but we will do that again. And to say any questions you think we can ask next time, please send them to me. So thanks very much. Have a good evening and enjoy.